Welcome to the Wine Guy, and we're here at the London Wine Fair. We're at the wonderful parts of the Wine Fair because this is something we're really proud about. This is English wines here at Ridgeview, and with Tamara from the family.
From the family,
of
yes.
Ridgeview.
Yeah.
The whole family affair that it is.
It is indeed.
And you said you're a little bit nervous about being on camera.
Yes.
Or you would rather not be on camera.
I was hoping that Mardy might be here, but that's fine. It's fine.
But of course, something that is really fantastic at the minute is the rise of great English wine, and of course at the forefront of that, sparkling.
Absolutely.
And at the forefront of that, Ridgeview.
Well, we like to think so.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And it's being recognised. Not only you think it's great, and no, I think it's fantastic, but also independent associations, Decanter and International Wine Challenge are recognising you. And didn't you win last year Best Sparkling Wine in the World or something like that?
We did. I wish it was last year. It was the year before.
Oh, okay.
But it was still good.
And that was the Grosvenor.
It was the Grosvenor, this particular wine, but in a previous vintage. So,
okay, great.
Yeah, so
and we're going to taste this now?
We're going to taste the new vintage. Yeah.
Fantastic. So talk to me a bit about Ridgeview down in Sussex.
Okay, so Ridgeview have been around since we planted in '94, and we've been selling our wine since about 2000, and we just produce traditional methods, sparkling wines using traditional grape varieties, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, all planted really mainly in Sussex and a little bit in Kent. And we process everything. We do all the winemaking in Ditchling at our winery in Ditchling.
And most of the vineyards are your vineyards, or do you buy in a lot of the?
We have partnership growers from whom we buy the grapes. So
okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And how many bottles do you produce in a year?
At the moment, we're up to about 260,000 bottles.
Okay,
so,
well,
yeah.
It's getting sizable.
Getting bigger.
Yeah,
getting
but
bigger.
still got the quality behind it.
Quality always.
And who's drinking it? What famous people are drinking Ridgeview?
President Obama has drunk Ridgeview with the Queen
Wonderful.
at the palace. And I'm just trying to think who else, really.
The Wine Guy.
The Wine Guy,
yes,
the most famous person I've ever met is drinking our wine. There are a few, and that's probably why Mardy would be much better at this than me. Should be reeling off these names, and but I'm always getting tongue-tied. But no, yeah, definitely President Obama's one of the Queen has had our the Grosvenor from a while ago for her 80th birthday party. So yeah, royalty.
And are you seeing a lot of interest this year because of the Jubilee and the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think there's been a big push for all English wines, but definitely within the trade and the press, and also with The Apprentice doing an English wine themed part stage.
What did you make of that?
Well,
honestly,
I mean, I can't fault what that's done for the English wine industry. It's put us right up there. People are talking about us all the time. I mean, and also, I don't think I'd be wanting a position in 2 days to do a branding of the whole of the English wine industry. It must have been a tough task.
How long has it took you to get your brand right?
Exactly. We're still in sort of 12 years or whatever. So yeah, I think.
So talk to me about this one. We're going to try the Grosvenor.
Yeah.
What's unique about it? What grape varieties have we got here?
So it's Chardonnay, 100% Chardonnay, and it's a wine that we make year on year in relatively smaller batches than perhaps some of our other blends, and it's always been a very good wine, performed very, very well at competitions, a well-received wine, and you get a lot of fruit, and I think with our style of wines we tend to make sure we push the fruit forward in the winemaking and everything else, because that's the style that we like. So
I think freshness is fantastic,
yeah,
and that's the way, because a lot of champagnes you can get can be fresh, but sometimes you can get those more intense characters, a lot of autolysis and a lot of sort of deeper flavours, which can be okay.
Yeah.
But when you want a lovely glass of sparkling wine, there's nothing like some freshness.
No, exactly, and that's our style of wines, and that's what we, I suppose, as a family like to have when we're drinking sparkling wines. So hence why Ridgeview's wines tend to be focused in that way.
And a lot of regal names as well, Bloomsbury and Grosvenor.
Yeah, you can't.
Fitzrovia.
We're all London-based names, so we've missed out some of the Peckhams and the Brixtons, but
you should.
Kept with the high-class London areas.
Is Chiswick next? That's where I'm from.
We're not allowed now because of the EU regulations. The grapes weren't grown there, so unfortunately we can't do it.
So can you still protect? Do you still have the name?
We're fine with these. Yeah, we just can't. We can't do any more.
Okay. What do we taste here? What's the signature thing about this Grosvenor on the palate?
Well, the Chardonnay tends to bring quite a lot of acidity and freshness to the palate, so it'll be quite a. There'll be a lot of fruit sort of with on the first front of the palate, but the acidity should come with it as well, and quite a long, nice length on the palate as well.
And are we perhaps just a little bit better than champagne because we're a little bit cooler and we've got that acidity going on?
Possibly. I mean, the one thing with the growing season in England is that we are able to go to full phenolic ripeness at the end of the season. We don't need to pick early to protect, to stop the sugars getting too high. Everything seems to come in properly at the right times, and we pick in October, so it's a very long growing season. So we do tend to get some really good flavours through on the grapes, the 09 especially.
So a great growing season, long growing season.
Yeah.
What else? What other little things do we have that's quite good? What about soil? What about?
Well, I mean, the soil, we're based in the southeast area, so the soil and the geology tends to be very similar from here under the downs into the northern area of France. So we do have very similar geology to that area of France. So the chalky, limestone, flintstone soils, all very good for this type of wine. But also climatically, being that close in that corner to the continent, we're more semi-continental than maritime, so we're slightly drier, and we can be slightly warmer in that corner of the southeast of England, which helps enormously as well for ripening and various other things during the season.
Fantastic, and it's lovely on the palate.
Thank you very much.
Acidity comes through again,
yes,
which means it's going to be a great partner to many foods.
Yes.
What do you say is a great sort of match with the Grosvenor, this 09? What would you love to eat with it?
Well, as always, with a good Blanc de Blanc, oysters, shellfish, something like that, would really cut it through. I mean, to the point of smoked salmon as well, the greasiness on the smoked salmon and the acidity on this would be perfect.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, so am I.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tamara. That's wonderful, and keep doing a fantastic thing. But just before you go, can you just mention Christopher Merritt? What is that? Okay. What is this all about, and why is he so important for sparkling wine?
Well,
why was he so important?
Why was he? Well, I think Christopher Merritt was a member of the Royal Society, and he was around in the 1660s, and at that time wines were coming in from Europe in glass that was made, which is slightly more flimsy than the glass we were making in London at the time in England. So Christopher Merritt had this idea, and I think he'd practiced on ciders and things like that before starting on wines, of actually decanting the wine from France into our stronger bottles, and actually then deliberately adding yeast and sugar into the wine, capping it, and to create what we now know as a traditional method sparkling wine.
And I would say this is an Englishman, Christopher Merritt, and he was the first to record it to the Royal Society in 1662. Dare I say this was before Dom Perignon, no?
It was 30 years before Dom Perignon. And Dom Perignon is obviously the master of the blending of the varieties in Champagne, but I don't think we can say that he actually made the traditional method. So
it was an Englishman.
It was an Englishman.
Christopher Merritt, and it's here on the label. So we have.
So it must be true.
Do you have these on all of your bottles?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So we have Merritt around the top of them.
Yeah.
In ode, really, to the man who first recorded sparkling wine. So fantastic.
Yes, thank you.